Hey there, Chef D Malfi here, and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy. Today's Wellness Wednesday, and so I'm making for you a delicious, healthy, and nutritious dinner that is very easy to put together. Today, I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite pasta dishes, lentil bolognese. It's really simple, it's super protein-packed, and honestly, you can use any ingredients that you want. I'm going to do the base minimum. That's just onion, mushroom, lentil, and a delicious pasta that I'm featuring today. So let's get started. So the first thing that I want to do is I want you to cook your pasta. I had to do that ahead of time, but let me share with you the pasta that we're using today. Today, I'm featuring the only bean. Once again, they're black bean spaghetti this time. I'm really excited to feature the only bean. They are such a cool company. They have 3 amazing flavors, and you can get all 3 of their pasta flavors inside of their taster box, which I have here. This is available on my Amazon shop. If you're interested, we're going to pop a link right to this item in case you want to purchase it. It's really great as a gift for any pasta lovers out there. And you should buy some for your family because it is unbelievable. All 3 flavors are fantastic. And I featured all 3 flavors I featured all 3 flavors with the pasta recipe of every month. So today is our October, and so I'm featuring our October pasta. It definitely has to be the black bean spaghetti because it's black and it's super fun. Last month, we featured the edamame fettuccine, which was fantastic, really yummy. I love the shape of this noodle. It's flat and it has like a wide thickness, which is great. And then the month before that, we did our soybean spaghetti. We featured this in a pasta puttanesca. All 3 of these are fantastic. And one of the reasons why I love the Only Bean is they're super social on social media. So you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. But I love the package. On the package, it actually tells you how this pasta compares to other pastas. So the Only Bean is here and it has a little black bean and it shares with you how this compares to chickpea pasta, lentil pasta, quinoa pasta, spinach, and wheat pasta. So let me just break it down. Hint, this is the best. Of all of these, this black bean pasta has 44 grams of protein per serving. The other pastas compare anywhere between 12 grams to 25 grams. This pasta has 18 grams of fiber, the most in any of the others. It compares to the others. The others have between 1 and 13 grams of fiber. And then this has some of the lowest net carbs, 17 grams of net carbs per serving. The others have the lowest is 35 grams, and then it goes up to 68 grams for wheat pasta. This stuff is fantastic. Now, I haven't yet tried the black bean spaghetti. I've definitely tried the sauce. I've tried it on lots of different types of noodles and pastas, but I'm really excited to try it on the black bean spaghetti. And if you're wondering, this is gluten-free, vegan, non-GMO, and it is just wonderful, super clean eating because it doesn't have anything except for organic black beans. Just one ingredient featured right here on the side of the box. So thank you so much, The Only Bean, the team there. Brian, thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm very excited to have a black pasta this month for our October lentil bolognese. So let's get to it. First things first, cook your pasta. This pasta takes anywhere between 4 and 6 minutes to boil. That's it. Get a big, nice stock pot of water boiling. Throw in some salt just as soon as it boils, and then throw in your pasta. It really doesn't take that long. Then you just drain it. You don't need to rinse it or anything. You can just enjoy it. I have it here ready to rock and roll, and it is black and delicious. And I've already tasted just a little bit just to make sure it was done, and it doesn't really even taste like black bean. It's perfect. It's very neutral. All right, the next step. I'm going to get my stock pot heating, and I want to get some oil going. Now, I'm going to use extra virgin olive oil today, which is right here, but you can use avocado oil, or if you're a whole food plant-based person, good on ya, and you can use water or veggie stock or broth. That will work just fine. All right, so let's get into the veggies. For a bolognese, you definitely want some yellow onion. And I'm going to show you how to properly dice a yellow onion. So I'll do this overhead so you can follow along. I have taken the top and the bottom off. These 2 pieces go right into the compost. The worms will love it. Now I'm going to slice this in half, and you have 2 half moons, right? Take these. You want to peel off that layer, that first layer with the skin, or the onion peel, whatever you call it. And then, here's missing some. What we want to do is we want to use both halves. I'm going to take it and I'm going to look at both halves. I'm going to basically start from the top, not the root side. So I can see this is where the root was. And I want to start by slicing on this side. So put your onion down. I'll do one at a time. Put your palm over your half onion. And then you're going to actually make 1/4 inch planks. And you're not going to go all the way through. You're going to stop right at the root edge. So do you see that I've stopped there? Now continue, go 1/4 inch higher. Make another, right? Just making planks all the way up. Keep doing this. Now, what you have is you have an onion that has planks. You see all these cool planks? Now take it and you want to turn it towards you, right? And now I'm going to do the exact same thing, but perpendicular. I'm going to make planks going the other direction and not all the way through. So you can see I'm not going all the way through here. My knife cannot go through. Fantastic. Now turn it back to the first position and give it a dice. And with this, you get pretty even, quick, diced pieces of onion. Really great to make sure that you slice your onion fast and you get it into your oil. It's going to go right into the oil. And I'm going to use the entire onion. And I'm going to make a big batch of this. I've cooked up the entire box of pasta, which is 8 ounces. Now let me do the other onion. Grab your onion goggles if you start to cry, or a piece of bread, as Granny says. My grandma always says use a piece of bread. It does work. Oh, and I'm crying a little bit. You know me. Just do it fast as you can, but do it carefully, and then throw it in. Woo! We did it. All right. That was my crying yell. That's what that was. Okay. Excuse me. And grab a heat-resistant spatula. I want to use a heat-resistant spatula. It's so important. You can grab these on my Amazon page as well. The shop has a lot of different stuff, from definitely ingredients like the only bean pasta to kitchen equipment. And then also big pieces of equipment like my induction burner here, which I love. I want heat-resistant spatula because I want to keep my cookware good and nice and not scraped up. And so I want to use a rubber spatula if I can, but it must be BPA free. Because we don't want any of those plastic endocrine disruptors in our body. So all BPA free for the plastic or the silicone that we choose. And we want it to be heat resistant so that it doesn't melt in our pot. Or if you're using it to scrape around the edge of a jar or a blender, it won't actually like chip off or anything like that. So it's really good to use strong heat resistant spatula. Cool. Okay, I'm going to season as I'm going. I'm going to add a little bit of salt here and a little bit of pepper. And you guys, if you have any questions along the way, please let me know. Charisse, good afternoon, lady. I'm so glad to see that you're here again. How's your week been going? I truly want to know. I'm so curious to know how you guys are doing. I know it's a little bit crazy here in the US because the election season is on. And so some of us are feeling the effects of that. I'm feeling good this week. I'm trying to stay on my wellness goal, which is to get outside 5 days a week. Charisse, do you have like a wellness goal? Do you follow some sort of like, a walk every day or a meditation? I'm truly curious. It's so important to have something that like kind of keeps me balanced. And I'm wondering if you feel the same way. All right. So this is good. I've seasoned as I've gone. I have salt. I have pea for pepper. Now, the next thing I want is a little bit of mushrooms. Now, I love button mushrooms in my bolognese because it actually makes it very kind of meaty, which is what we want. And I have just a box of these. It's 8 ounces of mushrooms. And I'm going to look and make sure that they're all clean. And one of the ways to actually clean a mushroom is to not rinse them under water. Now, I get this question a lot. How does it make it clean by just not rinsing it? Well, here's how it makes it clean. You take a dry dish towel and you literally just scrape away or wipe away all of the dirt. That's it. You should not rinse these because these mushrooms are like nature's sponges. As soon as they hit anything liquid, they just absorb everything, right? And we don't want these to be waterlogged. We really want to retain as much of this delicious flavor in this quick sauce that we're making. Right, so these look great. Yeah, all right. Cherie says she's feeling pretty good. She's trying a new recipe each day. Good on ya. I love that. Good for you. It's so cool right now because it's the turn of the season, as you know. And so I don't know about you, but I'm feeling really inspired by the different fall flavors. I love going to the market right now this time of year because there's a ton of like cinnamon and spice and maple and pumpkin, right? Like it's so nice. It's so inspiring for me to go to the market. It's my favorite time of year for sure because of the fall flavors. Definitely my favorite season. Definitely. I love fall. I think it's because I like the cool weather. I actually prefer it over the super duper hot sun summer. Although I love summertime. And my birthday's in the summer. I love the fall because it's cool, it's crisp. And in my neighborhood here in Costa Mesa, people really go crazy for Halloween. And so everyone has their houses decorated with witches and dragons, and it's so cute. I absolutely love it. Danny and I often, or Boo and I, my dog, will go walking around the neighborhood, and we call it wow housing. We like look at all the houses and we're just like, oh, wow, that's so cool. That's so cool. Do you have a neighborhood vibe right now going in your neighborhood, Charisse? Hi, Jerry. Good to see you. Yeah. Okay. How do I store mushrooms? Really good question. Thank you for asking. Okay. So I talked about this on my Instagram page. Jerry, are you on Instagram? If you aren't, you should be. I would love to be your friend on Insta. Anyway, I talked about this on my Instagram page. I have a whole video on IGTV on how to properly store your produce. And the reason I did it is because it was the first video that I wanted to do right after I went plant-based because I was really feeling like I treated my produce differently. I sort of cherished my produce in a new way as soon as I became plant-based. Do you feel the same way, Jerry? It's so interesting because I feel like I've been a chef for 15 years, right? I've been cooking all of my adult life. This has been my career. But I've never really had such a love for fresh produce like I do now. I've always had a love for it, but now it's like accentuated by 100. So here's how to store fresh mushrooms. They come usually in a little box with a cellophane plastic wrap on it. Now, as long as you can keep that closed and unopened for as long as you can, it's going to stay fresh. But some people don't want to use the full box on a recipe. So one of the things to do is to actually use what you need and then store the rest of the mushrooms in a brown paper bag, just a lunch bag. A brown paper bag, they work really well stored in paper. The paper actually absorbs a lot of the oxidization in the air, and it prevents the mushrooms from getting slimy. So the brown paper bag really does help. And I keep brown or white paper bags just in my drawer that I use all the time for my mushrooms. I don't need to use a new one each time. I just kind of use the same one until it gets, dirty or whatever, and it rarely does. And that's it. You just store it right in a bowl. I actually like to store it right in that box that it comes in. Usually it's a cardboard box. Sometimes it's plastic, but store it in that box and then put a paper bag over it or throw the whole thing in the paper bag. That's the best way to do it. All right. I'm going to throw in my mushrooms. You can see I've just diced these up, and these are going to really shrink up a lot more. And of course, we have our aromatic here, which is the onion, and then the mushroom is kind of like, the mushroom is the meaty texture that we want, like I mentioned. And so I definitely want to now add a little bit of some pungent, savory garlic. It's really important to add garlic to a bolognese. It isn't really a pasta sauce without garlic, in my humble opinion. Charisse, where do you live again? Please tell me. What city are you in or country? I think you're from the United States, but I'm not quite sure. Let me know. Yeah. Oh, and I keep them in the fridge. Great question. So Charisse is asking, do you store them in the refrigerator? I do. I absolutely store them in the fridge, and I try to store them like in the middle part of the refrigerator. All right. So 3 cloves of garlic. Yeah. Hi, Cindy. Good to see you. Cindy, I just discovered you're a hairdresser. Yeah, I love your hair. I love how playful your hairstyle is. I'm thinking of going short. Any thoughts and opinions? Like really short. I want to cut like yours, but I'm not quite brave enough to do it. Maybe soon. All right. So I have 3 cloves of garlic. I didn't bring my garlic press because I just wanted to show you how to mince it. Any old chef's knife will work. Make sure it's a really sharp chef's knife. I like my cosmic knives here. You guys, I have a whole set in the back. These are rainbow cosmic knives. These are actually pictures from NASA that they have superimposed onto these, or painted or glued onto these knives. These are chef's vision knives. They're very sharp. They're really great and they're super fun for the kitchen. These are also on my Amazon shop if you're interested. So I'm just gonna mince the garlic. I really just want it to slice thin at this point. I don't need to make it too tiny. I don't mind kind of thinly sliced bits of garlic in my pasta sauce. Not at all. I think it's kind of delicious. Oh yeah, Cheryl. Okay, I'm so glad. I saw that you made the pasta ahead of time. Thank you for trying it. I'm glad that you liked it. Yeah, it's a great sauce, right? It's hearty, it's rich. It's really, really good. Charisse, you're from Chicago? I didn't realize that. I love Chicago. I went to undergrad in Chicago. I went to DePaul University, and I lived in Lincoln Park for about 2 years. So you probably know Lincoln Park. I worked at the Bourgeois Pig Cafe, which is an amazing bakery in Lincoln Park. And I loved working there, you guys. It was my first job that I got literally like 3 days after I moved to Chicago. I walked into this cafe to get a latte, and I saw that they had like a hiring help, looking for a baker. And I thought, oh, I've never baked, but I can find my way around the kitchen, obviously. I'd already gone to culinary school. I hadn't gone to culinary school yet. I'd already worked in restaurants, excuse me. And it had this restaurant, this cafe, Bourgeois Pig Cafe in Chicago, had just been featured on Rachel Ray's $40 a Day. You guys remember that show? I wasn't a huge Rachel Ray fan. No offense, Rachel. I love you. I think you're fantastic. But the reason why I always kind of like, I watched all your programs, but people always said that I remind them of Rachel Ray. So like I always was mistaken for Rachel Ray, or like, oh, you're like the younger version of Rachel Ray. And I was like, no, I'm D Malfi. I'm my own person. So I was always kind of bugged by that. But I think Rachel is great. And I love that she featured the Bourgeois Pig Cafe. And because of that, there was like constantly lines around the door of this cafe, like around the corner. And I got the job as the baker. And I would start every single morning baking like 500 scones, 200 muffins, 150 cookies every single morning, 5 days a week before class. I would wake up at 3 a.m. I would walk my cold butt to the bakery, which was like 10 blocks away in like below zero. And I would sit in this like little tiny bakery room and bake by myself in this like really small, quaint cafe and just fill it up with like all these baked goods. It was definitely idyllic. All right, so next ingredient, we want a little bit of organic tomatoes. I'm gonna use these organic tomatoes from Trader Joe's, no salt added. You can use fire roasted, whatever you want. You want 14 ounces to 15 ounces, throw them right in. And then I want a little tomato sauce as well, okay? So the tomato, the diced, it is actually in water. It's in some tomato juice, which is great, but it's not juicy enough. We need a little tomato sauce. And if you can't find tomato sauce, you can make your own by just popping some cherry tomatoes, organic of course, into a blender and pulsing them until they're nice and smooth. But I have this right here that I love. I love tomato sauce in the can, USD organic, and it is certified internationally, quality certified organic. So it has that global stamp of approval for organic as well. Throw that right in. Again, 14 to 15 ounces. And then I need some flavor agents. You can't have a bolognese that's like, you know, flavorless. You actually need it to be flavored really, really aromatically. I'm going to use a little S&P. Again, remember, I'm salting and peppering as I go. So a little salt. I'm using sea salt. Yeah. I love this sea salt. It's so flaky and delicious. A little cracked black pepper. And then because I'm making a bolognese, I need to bring the, just like the love of my Nanu Luciano, who passed away a few years ago. This is Nanu's oregano, you guys, from his home. He used to dry his homegrown oregano in the garage on like 500 sheets, like lots, like hundreds of sheet trays, like baking sheets. And he would dry it up and it would just like, he would deliver it in these little jars. So this is Nanu's oregano going in about a teaspoon or so. And then a little bit of red pepper flake. I'm Sicilian after all, have to make it a little spicy. Half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want. And that should give it a nice oomph, a nice herbaceous quality from the delicious oregano and a little bit of the red pepper for heat. Let that bubble up. Okay, and I have one more secret ingredient. I'm going to use a little tiny bit of ground cinnamon. Now, this is my Nanu and Nana's secret ingredient. All right, now they used to have a deli, excuse me, called the Malfitano Deli. You guys maybe have seen me wear the t-shirt. This deli was around before I was even a thought in my parents' eye. It was actually around when my dad was a teenager. And they used to make a ton of great Italian food that was like quick service, right? A deli, they had pastas, they had lasagnas, they had sandwiches, soup, salads, all of that. And every single time they would make a red sauce, Nana would always add a little tiny bit of ground cinnamon. And the reason they did it is because my family has closer ties to North Africa and North African cuisine than we do to even Northern Italy. So I am part North African, got my DNA checked just to verify that is true. And this is definitely like a very Sicilian / North African spice, and it's so good with the tomatoes. So if you want a little warmth, add just a touch of cinnamon. Now, the last ingredient, obviously, this is lentil bolognese. So we need lentils. So let me grab my lentils and I'll show you which ones that I use. All right, so this is what I use, you guys, steamed lentils. These are ready to eat, warm or cold, really great. They come in a pouch. This is 17.5 ounces. Here's what they look like. These are totally steamed off and ready to go. I use these a lot. I get 1 box a week. I use them for everything from making sloppy joes to tomato sauce to putting them on salad. I even like to make vegan tuna by taking lentils and then mashing it up with celery and apple, carrot, and a little vegan mayo and some dill. Yum, right? Really, really good. All right, so I'm gonna take my lentils, I'm gonna open them up. The hardest part about this is opening them out of the package. So let me show you how I do it in case you definitely get these same ones from Trader Joe's. I just go around with a pair of my kitchen shears all the way around. Don't be fooled. It doesn't really open from that little tab that they give you. And then you kind of just peel them right out of the bag. Yeah. And what I end up with is this big chunk of lentils, right? So I need 1 cup. So it's really kind of cool. I can just kind of take a chunk off that looks like a cup. And then, Danny, will you do a full screen, please? Because I can't touch my computer. Yeah. So I have a cup in my hand. Yeah. Remember, these are steamed and ready. And I just want to pop them in. And they will continue to sort of dissolve and disintegrate and separate right in the pasta sauce. So this is looking great. Yeah, let's do a question. Karen asks, Karen Champagne, I love your last name. Can I use green lentils? Yes, you may. You can use green lentils. You can use French pouille lentils. You can use black lentils. You can use any lentils that you want. Know that they all have just a slight different like texture and flavor, but they're all going to be really great and perfect for this. And they kind of just like melt away anyway. So that's why you can use any lentils. It doesn't matter. Truly, I've done this also with like cannellini beans or white beans if I didn't have lentils, but I prefer the lentils because they're so small. And so they do kind of like soak up into the sauce and dissolve and just kind of mimics kind of ground beef. Yeah. Yes, you need to steam them first unless you purchase them pre-steamed. So do not take this recipe and think that you can just throw in 1 cup of dried lentils to this sauce. It won't work. What's going to happen is it's going to absorb all of the tomato sauce and it's not going to be saucy anymore. It's just going to be like lentils that are cooked in tomato sauce, and you're going to end up with half the amount of the liquid that you have and probably half cooked lentils. So you don't want that. You want to cook your lentils in a pot of water or steam them before you add them to this. You want cooked lentils in your bolognese. And you definitely can use canned lentils as well. I was right. Cindy, you are a hairdresser. Yeah. I'm so glad that you're liking all of these wonderful recipes and that you're getting value out of the content. Okay, Cherie says, will the tuna be featured in your monthly issue? Well, it may, Miss Cherise. It may. I think I'm going to hold off and do a tuna recipe for once we get through the fall. So stay tuned. It may come in the winter. It may come in the spring. It's definitely more of a spring recipe, I think, because it's really great with spring onions, scallions, fresh dill, all of these fresh herbs. But stay tuned for that. It's really yummy. Yay, Sandy, I'm so glad that you got the cookbook. I'm really glad to hear that you want to try all the recipes. Try this one. This one's really, really hearty. I woke up this morning and it was kind of like, you know, kind of overcasty where we live. And so I went outside, I did my run, and I was thinking, oh, I can't wait until I can like have a little bowl of this pasta. And I'm really excited to try it on the black bean spaghetti. So if you missed the beginning, let me just quickly tell you again, we are featuring this with the Only Bean black bean spaghetti. Thank you, Only Bean. We featured this pasta from their Tasters box. This comes right from Amazon. You can buy it right from my Amazon page. And it has black bean spaghetti, edamame fettuccine, and soybean spaghetti. All three we've featured in every pasta recipe over the course of the last 3 months. And I'm really excited. I'm so glad to be partnering with these guys. All right, so this looks great, you guys. This looks fantastic. Before I cover it and just let it go, let me just taste for salt and pepper. Yeah, really important. You've gone this far. Make sure that it's kind of where you want it. It's nice. It's definitely got enough of the, actually no, I think it needs a little bit more salt, just a tiny bit. Definitely needs more black pepper, enough, and a little bit more salt. I think it has enough of the oregano, but I'm gonna go with just one more dash of the cinnamon. Just wanna like warm it up just slightly. I'm saying warm it up because cinnamon is a warming spice. Yeah, this looks good. This looks really good. All right, cover it and just let this cook down for a few more minutes. Now, the recipe asks you to cook this for about 18 to 25 minutes. Now, this could be a Sunday sauce as well. And a Sunday sauce is something that you put in a pot and you let it simmer very, very low for a couple of hours. That's why they call it a Sunday sauce, because maybe you have more time on Sunday to sit in the house and allow the pot to simmer for a few hours. If you do a Sunday sauce version and just let this simmer for a few hours, it's going to be even more delicious. But we want our recipes here to be quick and easy. So really it takes about 18 to 25 minutes just to make sure that it's nice and tender all the way through, and that the onions are cooked and kind of dissolved, and that the lentils are kind of dissolved as well. So let that go. And now let me show you how to make plant-based Parmesan. Yeah, you into that? You want to see me make plant-based Parmesan? I think that you might be interested in this because it is really user-friendly. You can use this plant-based Parmesan on anything. You can put it in dips. You can put it in salad dressing. Obviously, you can put it on grilled vegetables, grilled tofu, tempeh. You can put it on top of pasta, which we're going to do. So let me show you how I make my plant-based parm. I changed this recipe up a lot because I think it's really easy to kind of make it your own. First things first, you need a little tiny food processor. So I'm going to just pull my thing down so that you can really see the food processor. I'm using my little tiny baby prep Cuisinart here today. And I'm going to add 2, maybe 3 ingredients, all right? 2 important ingredients that are kind of standard. Hi, Nina, good to see you. All right, let's do it. First ingredient, most important. You need some cashews. Cashews are, oh, I didn't see the comment. Did you put a comment up? Let's see. Huh? Oh, Nina said, I had the cinnamon roll smoothie this morning. Wasn't it good? Yeah, that one's really yummy. I'm definitely making that a few times this month. All right, first ingredient for our plant-based parm, you need some whole cashews. I'm gonna use some roasted but unsalted cashews because I wanna control my salt level. So I'm gonna use a little bit of this. It's 1 part, it's 1 to 1, 1 part cashews to 1 part nutritional yeast. So I'm gonna use like a half cup. You can use a different nut. I really like whole cashews though. I really like roasted whole cashews because they're gonna give you a very kind of nutty flavor. The raw cashews are really great for making milk, and they're really great for making cheese and yogurt, but not so great for Parmesan and things like this. You can use it if that's all you have, but you may wanna actually flavor it up with more flavor agents. So I'm gonna use the roasted and unsalted. Quality control. Nutty, crispy. Come on, so good. Right. Next ingredient, super important. You can't have plant-based parm without these 2 things. You can use any nut. Make sure it's roasted if you can. Raw is fine. It's just not going to have as much flavor, but this is a non-negotiable. Nutritional yeast, really important. Nutritional yeast is wonderful. It's actually made for the vitamins, and specifically the B vitamins, specifically vitamin B12, which happens to be my favorite vitamin. It's one of these vitamins that gets talked about a lot for people that go vegan or plant-based, because it's one of these vitamins that most vegans and plant-based people find that they become deficient in. but it's not actually true for a lot of people. It's like one of these old kind of stereotypes about vegan or plant-based cooking, but not necessarily true. And now I say that this is not necessarily true anecdotally, meaning I have heard, and I've worked with a lot of coaching clients that have had their blood tested after a couple months or a year on plant-based and vegan cooking. And what they found is that there's no change. They are still getting the same amount of B vitamins on an animal-based diet versus a plant-based or vegan diet. So this is all anecdotal research. Obviously, for every body, it's a little different. You definitely want to check, though, get a full blood panel. Make sure that your doctor knows that you're plant-based and vegan, and just make sure that you're getting all of the vitamins that you need. One of the best ways to get your B vitamins is simply nutritional yeast, you guys. I love using nutritional yeast. It's flavorful. It's kind of cheesy-like. It has a wonderful flaky texture, and it really is wonderful on so many things. I use it on popcorn. I use it in plant-based parm. Like I said, this is the best ingredient for this. So half nuts to half nutritional yeast. You can use any nuts, macadamia, almonds that are slivered. You can use cashews are my favorite with nutritional yeast. 1-to-1. Perfect. And now let's say you had only raw nuts, you didn't have the roasted kind, and you need some additional flavor. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder. This is going to add a savory quality, and it's going to be really yummy. Like a half a teaspoon. And it's really going to be nice. It's going to really come together perfectly. So put this on your food processor. Put the top on your food processor, and then just give it a pulse. Cool. And then just look to make sure, have you gone as far as you want it to go? And one of the ways that I know is that I have equal parts and equal consistent flakes of nutritional yeast and cashews. I'm just going to stop right here and pick it up and show you. Take a look at this. This is not quite done. Do you see how I have really big chunks of that cashews? Not quite done yet. I want everything to be unified, yeah? So give it another whirl. Couple more pulses, and it will be done in a second. You don't really need to add salt. You can know that your sauce that you're gonna, or your dressing or whatever, however you're garnishing your dish, either with a sauce or a dressing, that's gonna have the salt. This is gonna be kind of a neutral flavor. You can add salt later, but I wouldn't actually add salt to this and store it with salt because it's gonna draw out the moisture. But you could add dried parsley, dried basil, all of that. So let's take another look. Oh yeah, okay, so now this is perfect. And I love, mimicking those crystallized Parmesan pieces. So I know this is done because it kind of looks like that. And I'm just gonna show you, oops. There we go. Do you guys see? Now the pieces are unified and this is looking great. This is perfect. Take this right off. And then I store it inside of a glass mason jar, just like this. And this will go right into my refrigerator, and it keeps for like 6 weeks in the refrigerator. Honestly, it doesn't really go bad. I say 6 weeks because I feel like by that time it's going to be gone and you'll just need to make more. So put it in a glass container. Yes, store it in the refrigerator. And that's really because of the nuts. The nuts contain a lot of those good oils and fats. So we need to keep this pulverized nut mixture refrigerated so it stays fresh and the oil doesn't get rancid, spoil. Oh, I made a lot here. It's going to be perfect. And I would even put right on a little piece of tape, label it B12, yeah? And if you use a tablespoon of this every few days, you are covered for your weekly amount of vitamin B12. And if you don't want to make this and you just need to make sure you're getting enough B12, yes, you can take the supplement form, but I really prefer getting it from my food. And there you go, plant-based parm, super easy. Let me just keep that open because we're going to plate our pasta. And I'm going to show you how delicious it is with a little plant-based parm right on. Let me clear my decks here. Got to clean as you go, you know. Cool. All right, and the nutritional yeast, you can find this at Trader Joe's. You can find this at Whole Foods. You can find this at any health food store. It's really great. And if you forget what it has in it, flip it to the other side and check out the ingredient label. And it's going to tell you all of the vitamin D, calcium, iron, potassium, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, folate, vitamin B12, and zinc. This is really important. So if you forget, you can just look on the label. All right. Now let's check our bolognese. My gosh, you guys, you guys need to be in this pot with me. Look at this. Oh, yum. In my tum very soon. Oh my gosh. This looks so great. It looks saucy. It's perfect. All right. All right. So let me give it a taste and then we are going to plate and that will be a show. I want to make sure that I have enough of the seasoning. I want to make sure that I can taste cinnamon, pepper, salt, all of it. Oh, wow. Is that good? It is. You know what? I think I'm going to go pasta right in. So this is the black bean spaghetti from the Only Bean. I am going to just drop the pasta noodles right in. Okay. Give it a little bolognese bath. Yum. Okay, this looks good. Good enough. Let's plate this. Get a beautiful white plate so that that black bean pasta will just pop on your bowl. Make sure you wipe it clean. Cool. Yum, this is going to be so good and perfect for Halloween. I'm super getting into the spirit. I love this time. I love this time of year. What I like to do is just plate up the pasta noodles first, and then you can like finish it with some sauce. So get the noodles down. And what we used to do in the restaurant is get it as tall as possible. Yum. Let me turn this off. And then let me grab, actually, oh, these are from the Malfitano Deli, you guys. There we go, an heirloom. I'm going to use this to grab the sugu, as my nana would say, or the sauce, and just go and plate it. I really love that it's chunky and delicious. It's soupy. It's warm. Yum. Yum. I love mushrooms too. The mushrooms and the lentils go so well together. Let me just give this the old chef's wipe. And you guys, this looks so yummy. The only thing that we need is some Parmesan. So I'm going to grab some with my Parmesan spoon here. And I just want to tap it in. Give it a little love. This really does look great. Actually, let me just leave that right there in case I need a little bit more. Give it one more wipe, and there you have it. Black bean spaghetti from the Only Bean, lentil bolognese. Yum. I think you would eat this, yeah? Steamy and delicious. This looks good. Come on, what do you guys think? Does it look good? Would you eat it? Let's do a little split screen. I'm going to take a little bite. Obviously, you can use any noodle, but I highly recommend check out the Only Bean. Really good stuff. You will not regret it. I want a little of the sauce, a little bit of the noodle, and I want to just stop and give this food a little gratitude. Thank you, food. Thank you, God. Yes. Oh, man. The black bean spaghetti is so perfect. It cooks in 4 minutes. It's easy. It doesn't really have a black bean taste. It's neutral. It goes really well with the lentil bolognese. I hope that you guys try this recipe. And if you try it and you make it your own, take a photo, will you? And pop it in our Facebook group, because now we are over 2,000 people, global community, friends, people from all over the world. I know I say that a lot, but it's something I'm super proud of. Like it's not It's not necessarily the recipes. It's that people are interested in plant-based right now. And I am so happy to know that. It's like the perfect time to make health your commitment. So please join us. It's a free Facebook group and it's a wonderful group of people. Thank you everyone that's here, that's a part of it. Sharice, it's good to see you. Shay, thank you for being here. Cheryl, Cindy, Karen, Shannon, it's good to see you. I'm so glad to have all of you here, and come back for more. Tomorrow, we are going to be making our snack recipe. I'm going to show you how I make my curry popcorn snack mix. It's so great. And then we will finish the week out strong on Friday with a healthy and delicious sweet treat. I'm making pumpkin snickerdoodle cookies. I love snickerdoodles, one of my favorites, but we're making them pumpkin style, perfect for Halloween. So come back for that. Share this with your friends. You guys know the content is here on Facebook at Chef Daniela Malfitano and on YouTube at Plant Based Made Easy. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.